What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Rock of Truth podcast, season two, episode 1. My same co-host with me here, Joe Met. What's up, Joe?
Statty Daddy, how's it going, brother?
Dude, going great. I'm excited for Saturday. As you guys can tell, we have a third member of the team, not just for today. Okay, he's here for us all year long. Number 10, Bearcat great, Jake Sopko, man.
Yes, sir. Excited to be here, man. I'm excited to join the crew and talk a little bit about the Bearcats, man. Talk some ball. I miss it, so I'm glad you guys are gonna let me be here and be part of it, and excited to get this thing going.
Huge addition to the podcast. So we're excited to have you, man.
Thanks, dude. Let's get it going.
Let's talk Razorbacks.
Razorbacks Bearcats 3:30, man. What initial thoughts when we've seen them on the schedule? Kind of didn't know much about them. They haven't been too great, but now they got that good coach. They had a great season last year. I mean, your guys' honestly initial thoughts when we kind of added them to the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a great game, to be completely honest. I think obviously, we're losing, 9 draft picks, lost a lot, but I think, it's a new era. It's not going to be like a one and done. It's going to be a reload. So we have a lot of, good players that have a little bit of experience. They're going to fill different roles. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the Bearcats do. And then, Arkansas, I think is a great team. I think, they're ranked, 19 or whatever. They came off one of their better seasons in a long time. So I think it's going to be a bloodbath, but, excited to see how it goes. Joe?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Coach Pittman is actually, he used to be a Bearcat assistant back in the day. So there's been many great football coaches that worked in Clifton for a little bit. He's one of them. He's a guy that actually I saw a video the other day when he was playing at Pitt State as I don't know, I think he was a lineman at Pitt State. Him and Fickle were kind of going back and forth this week, but when he was at Pitt State, he was drinking a Coors Light on the sideline. So the game's changed a little bit. I don't think many players are drinking Coors on the sidelines, but I was hearing that the other day on the radio, and I watched a little video of him drinking a little Coors on the sideline, which was good stuff all around. So I'm excited for this matchup. Two big, tough guy going at it in the coaching carousel here. Yeah.
How did you feel about the comments that were made this week with as you're talking about Coach Pittman saying something about, some guys bring tea to a party, some guys bring liquor, and then Fickle came back with, I don't get invited to a lot of parties, so I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that I don't think that Coach Pittman really understands who he's messing with here. I think it just adds fuel to the fire, and Fickle's not a big guy that adds fuel to any fire, so he'll just take that. I'm sure you both know better than me what he's going to do to use that as motivation, but I thought it was a little bit comical that middle of the pack SEC guy who hasn't even came close to winning it is already talking trash before the first game of the season.
That got you a little fired up.
Yeah, he's a goofball.
Got under your skin. Love that. Well, I mean, you guys said it. They've been they were a heck of a team last year, a great coach. I mean, they actually did something for the first time in their program, I believe since it was 71, 200 passing yards, 200 rushing yards in every game. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew that one, but
yeah, I mean, they have a lot of guys returning, right?
4 linemen. I mean, they have starters returning, but guys, I mean, like receiver wise, they lost Burks, and now their returning, as you would call a returning guy, he only had 20 catches, I think, for 300 yards last year, or he was their second leading receiver. So they got a couple transfers in now. I think Oklahoma transfer, and then another transfer who spent time at Georgia and Toledo. So, but who knows? All 4 linemen coming back. That's always a pretty big deal.
And KJ Jefferson, their quarterback, he led their team not only in passing, obviously, but also rushing, which obviously we're going to have to contain him in the pocket. I feel like we've done a good job of that in the years past, but I don't know if we face anything quite like KJ. He's big too. I mean, he's not just quick. He's a big boy.
100%. So, new year, new team. I think a great way to start off, this segment is really just kind of going through the Bearcats released their unofficial 2 deep depth chart the other day. I would love for us to kind of go through it and give our thoughts. Just before the season, a lot of new guys step into different roles. Starting with the quarterback, obviously the big competition that we've been hearing about all summer long, Ben Bryant, Evan Prater. Joe, who's walking out as a starting quarterback?
I think it's going to be Ben, but I'm sure that you two somehow, some way might potentially know the answer to that. And I don't know if you two are going to share it or not, but I'm glad that you guys are asking the one guy who has no idea who's going to be the starting quarterback. My guess is Ben, but what do you two think? Just, maybe give us a hint.
I don't know any information, but if I, to take a guess, I'd have to go with your guess. I mean, I just think it's a guy who was in the program early on. Sure, took a step away, but, I think in a game like this, you got to honor a little bit of experience. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would guess that Ben Bryant's going to be the guy who walks out there. I think you're in a good spot where you have 2 guys that you feel comfortable with playing. Ben, obviously, took his, what are they saying, like kind of redshirt year. He went out to Eastern Michigan, started for a year, played well, got all that experience, and then we brought him back. I don't think we brought him back to be the backup. So, but I think it'll be interesting to see, Coach Gino's offense, and now he's officially the offensive coordinator taking over. I think it'll be a little bit different, and I think he'll definitely play into Ben's strengths. Gino is a UC legend, and he holds, all the records, the ones that Dez didn't break and passing and stuff. So I'd imagine he wants to push the ball down the field, and I think Ben's the perfect guy for that. He's got probably the best arm that I've seen live. He's a great leader, and the guys respect him and all that stuff. So, I think he'd be a great fit. And not to take anything away from Evan, too. I think Evan's a great player, great kid. Big Evan Prater fan. I will give him his credit. He's definitely improved vastly in his mechanics and decision making and all that. So I know they're excited about that. And he's a special runner. I know Dez gets a lot of hype because he's, Dez is a very effective runner and he's super fast, but I think Evan is really dynamic in that, and he's super shifty and stuff like that. So I think you can't go wrong with either of them, but I think Ben will be the guy.
Do you see them using some running packages with Evan in the game, or do you see if Ben's the guy, are they going to stick with Ben? Because in the past, that's kind of how Coach Fickell's worked. But I think you have an interesting situation this year where you have a guy, like you said, who can throw the football, but you have another guy who's so dynamic with his legs that he can change a game in that way as well. Do you see them maybe sharing some snaps in certain parts of the year, or do you think that's not a thing Coach Fickell will do?
I don't. I think, some teams might, because I do think Evan's that effective in the run game, but I don't really think that's Coach Fickell's style. He really wants to have one guy, be the guy, control the offense. And I think too, you got to worry about depth. I mean, you got Ben and Evan, and then behind him you have Brady Lichtenberg, who's, he's going to be a good player, but he's only a redshirt freshman, doesn't have the experience. And then after that, Jacob Hoying, who's a walk-on. So you only have 4 guys at that spot, and I know that they worry about depth, and that's the most important position. So I just don't think that they would put Evan in there, unless they have to, or unless he is the guy. But I don't see them doing that.
Yeah, I always thought shifting quarterbacks around was always just interesting. I don't know, like mid-game, I think it just kind of changes a mood and a flow within that huddle, whether it's one play or 2 plays. So I think whatever works is, if it's leading to success, I think Coach Fick's probably going to ride with that. But, I mean, about our offense, the Arkansas's defense, they don't have a lot coming back, only 4 guys that started last year. So I thought that was a little surprising when I was looking. Two of them that they lost was a top pass rusher, and they lost another D tackle up the middle who was a pretty good run stopper. So I'm excited to kind of see our O-line, how we do up front. It's kind of definitely a returning group up front, but I still think we got some new pieces in there. So,
and we lose 6 defensive draft picks plus 1 in Joel DeBlanco, who was a heck of a player as well. So we lose 7 key guys on our defense. It feels to me like this is just going to be a game where we do not know what's going to happen. Like I'll be shocked if we, win by 2 touchdowns, and I'll be shocked if we lose by 2 touchdowns. Like, I really just don't know what to expect. So I don't know what you two are thinking from that standpoint, but
you like that +6 that Vegas has come out with then?
Maybe I might like it. I might drive to Indiana just to kind of.
It's not that far
Press
away.
the hit button and down in Indiana when it comes to hammering that. So I'm right on the edge right now. I might be texting you in the next few days and asking if you want to drive to Indiana.
Hey, might have to.
Barstool Sportsbook, baby.
I love that. Getting back to the depth chart, like you said, offensive line. You got 4 of your 5 guys returning. They have Joe Huber slotted in as the new right tackle, which I think is exciting. He's a guy who came in as a walk-on, really developed. I know they're really high on him, so happy for him to get that role and see how that goes.
Do we know his class?
He is a redshirt sophomore.
Wow. Okay. So, walked on last year.
This is, I think, his 3rd year in the program, maybe.
Redshirt freshman, right?
Hey,
sophomore.
being around him last year on staff, like, what's he? I mean, size wise, says he's 6'5", 310 pounds. That's a big boy. Does he move well?
Wow.
Did you see this coming?
Yeah, I know he's somebody that they've been high on, and he's been developing. Every year they've seen that like sustainable development. He's solid, man. He's a good player, and I think he'll fit in just fine. I know they got a new offensive line coach, so they're getting a lot of good coaching there. And so I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good for them. And then tight ends.
Where's he from?
Central Michigan.
Okay.
I believe he was there with Gino when he was there.
No, our new right tackle.
Don't remember.
Do we know? No.
I think Cincinnati area.
Huber's the last name?
Yep.
All right.
It's interesting to see O'Quinn move into right guard and Metz to kind of go to the second string. I felt like Metz played well last year. Do you think there was a determining factor on why that's happening? I mean, that's one of my biggest question marks for this year's offensive line is I felt like he played pretty decent last year. He limited his false starts. I mean, is there some reasons behind that?
I think, you just got to put your best 5 out there. And I think O'Quinn's always been more of a natural guard than a tackle. I think he played tackle last year just because we kind of needed him to.
Mm-hmm.
So you bump him back into his natural spot at right guard. And then again, they just must feel really good about Joe Huber and his development enough to, bump D.O. in and have him start at right tackle. So, excited to see how that goes. Tight end, Josh and Lenny, probably the best tight end room in the country.
Great room.
Yeah, I mean,
will we utilize them?
Oh, have to.
Yeah, I think you got to get in 12 personnel and have people. You got to make that a matchup nightmare and have people figure out how they're going to guard them.
You can do a lot with those two in 12. It's not going to always be a heavy book. You can split Josh out and really do some things.
Yeah, and you can get people to kind of stack the box because you're in that 2 tight end set. But then they're both so athletic and such good in the pass game that you can kind of use them in that way. I think you can definitely, be creative in the way you use your personnel, having those 2 guys. So I think that's exciting. Shaman, who's going to be a redshirt freshman, he was great last year. He flashed a lot in scout team. So I know they're high on him too, to be that 3rd tight end, maybe get him the ball somehow, some way. So I think that's probably the most solidified position on the team right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. that whiteout group. That room that's pretty fun. Pretty fun room out there.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some guys. I mean, Tyler Scott had a big year last year. He'll get more targets with AP leaving. Trey's a dog. We know that. Will Pauling. He's a kid who's very similar to Trey. Super shifty. I'm sure they'll try to get him involved. Jaden Thompson, solid. And then, was it Nick Martiner from Hawaii?
Hawaii transfer, yeah. I'm excited.
Heard a lot about him.
Supposed to be pretty solid.
The media loves him at practice. But
yeah, they do.
I know how you two feel about the media, so we got to be careful. But
we are in the media. Yeah.
They said he's a stud.
We are a
stud.
Yeah, he's a big boy, and again, that's another guy who provides matchup difficulties with his size. So excited to see him. And then the running back room, I think, is probably one of the most interesting position group that they have right now. They didn't really name a starter. They put 4 backs there. You got Ryan Montgomery, who's a senior, Chuck, who's a redshirt senior, been around forever. Then Miles Montgomery's a redshirt freshman, and Corey Kiner transferring back from LSU, who's a sophomore.
Can we talk about the running back room for 1 second? And reason I just want to hear from you guys who've been around the program. If you had to guess who's going to get most of the snaps at running back, if you had to give top two guys, who would you guess?
I mean, out of the 4, I'd say it'd be probably Kiner and Montgomery. I don't know. I think you can do a lot with the 3 if you include
which Montgomery. There's 2 Montgomerys.
Right. Sorry.
Really, I've heard Miles might be the guy, but that's just from different people. I mean, Jake. Do you have any insight on who will get like those? How about the first 3 snaps of the game? Who's in the game?
I don't have any insight. I saw, I'm sure you guys did, Ryan Montgomery. I think Coach Fickle said we'll start out there. I really think that's going to be a room that's just by committee. And I'm sure they have 1 or 2 that they feel really good about to start with. And I think it'll really just be who plays their way into that first back role. You don't have the Dokes or Jerome, who's the clear-cut 1 this year. So I think exactly. Mike Warren. Yeah, I think that's
been a loaded group the past couple of years. Like you just knew who the running back was. But I think they're all versatile, very versatile guys. You can do a lot with all of them, I feel like.
I think it'll be interesting. And I saw Miles Montgomery was kind of running with the 1s a lot during camp, and he's a kid who's super hard downhill runner. Puts his face mask into people's chests. So I think he would be an exciting one to watch. But I'm interested to see what they do with that group.
Yeah.
All right, you want to swing it over to the defensive side real quick?
Let's talk defensive end.
Yeah, who we got over there?
Both sides, because we're going to be losing Najee, who can just absolutely so much speed off the edge. He drawed so many double teams last year. Even in that Alabama game, I felt like he was really, really effective off the edge when Bryce Young dropped back to pass. So that's going to be a huge position, in my opinion, that needs to be filled if we want to be as effective as a defensive unit, especially if we continue to play that 3-man front. They're going to have to get to the quarterback. So, let's talk about some of the defensive ends and what we think we might see out of them, Saturday.
Yeah, Statty, I'll kind of let you take the floor. That's your bread and butter, but I think
who we got out there? What's it?
We got Jabbar. It's for some reason it says Jabari at the end. It says Noah Potter. We got Watley. You got Malik. You got Eric Phillips. So those are the kind of the core 5. It looks like. I think Briggs and Corleone are going to be the main defensive tackles that play most of the snaps there, but these other guys are kind of going to be filling that defensive end role. So talk about that a little bit.
I think we got kind of based on that personnel, I think we got a lot of guys that can play all the positions, especially, Jabari. I think he can play all 3 pretty well. But I think they're going to stay in that 3 down. We've played it a lot so recently, and, as much as people want to, say, why are we doing 3 down? They keep running the ball. I think we just are able to do a lot more on the back end and cover a lot more space out there where, like a 3 to 4 yard carry might not crush us. But, that big chunk plays of 20 yards when we've got another D lineman on the field, I think sometimes you're like, oh, well, now we need another DB out there on the field. So, but I like them. I mean, they're all, athletic guys. Briggs, I mean, clearly, he's the big man in the middle. So, but other than that, I think they're all got good speed to them. Malik Van probably coming in healthy, probably healthiest in a while. So I'm excited for his year. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great analysis. I mean, it is nice that you have Jabari and Malik that have played a lot of football, and then Briggs was getting significant time last year too. So, there's that. The guys behind them don't have a lot of playing experience, but they're in a great program that has had a lot of success at that position. Obviously, Coach Pickle, being a nose guard, that's kind of his bread and butter, and excited to see what those guys do. To the linebackers, Huber,
a loaded room.
Loaded room. Yeah, a lot of talent. There really is. Huber coming back for his 6th year to be the man in the middle. Love that. Super excited for Willie. Got named captain. I think he's going to step into that role really well. I think he's going to, be the leader of that defense and have the season that, he deserves. I think he works his ass off. So I'm excited for him. And then, your other two, Will, you got Jaheim Staddy, who I know you've been working with. Ivan Pace, who transferred in that they're really high on. And then, playing the dollar, you got Pace, the other Pace, Deshaun Pace, who was here last year, who had a breakout season as a freshman. And Ty Van Fossen, who's, steady guy's been around for a while, plays good football. So
a lot of good players.
Yeah, it's a great list for sure. Yeah, that's a room, they're all going to play. They're all going to be out there, obviously, and it's going to be exciting to watch the production that they have. Again, I think it's a room where it's pretty athletic guys at those positions, not like your basic linebacker core, I guess, that you kind of think of initially when thinking about LBs. Got a lot of guys that can cover a lot of ground, which I think leads into that 3-down front that we love to play. So,
yeah, I'd be interested to see, how they use them in blitz packages. Just because, you might not be getting as much pressure from the guys up front, missing Majay and Curtis was really good at getting to the quarterback. And then the back end, you're losing a lot of the guys in the back end. So you got to find a way to, especially if they want to try to keep playing man coverage like we did last year. And we could talk about the secondary in a second, but I think I'm interested to see, you have such great talent at the linebacker position. How are you going to use those guys to pressure the quarterback?
Yeah.
I've heard from multiple people that Ivan Pace might be the best of all of them. There was a reason he was kind of sought out by a lot of big time schools when he entered that transfer portal. But for as good as the other Pace brother is, to have another one that might be better is, I think, going to be a big blessing this year for the entire roster. I think that's going to help, especially on the run defensive side when you lose guys like Beavers and DeBlanco and stuff like that. So I'm excited to watch this linebacker core kind of compete and see who's going to end up getting some of those main reps, in big time spots in the game.
100%. And yeah, there's been a lot of hype about Ivan Pace and, how effective he was blitzing last year while I was at Miami of Ohio. So yeah. I definitely think we'll be creative with him and find ways to kind of bring him off the edge. So excited to see that. And then we'll just quickly roll into the secondary. Obviously you lose Sauce, Kobe, B. Cook. Those are high draft picks. Obviously Sauce went, 3 overall or whatever it was, 3 or 4. But you got some big names to replace. So they got Jaquan Shepard playing corner of the boundary.
What's he like? For you guys that have watched him in practice, what's he like as a player?
I think he can play. When we saw him, pretty, he's still a young guy. Obviously has been, behind and learning from 2 just great players out there. I'm really excited for him. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's just, been very anxious to finally get his time to go out and play. And, I think knowing him, what I do, I think he, is going to take advantage of that opportunity and really, really shine.
He's 6'2", 200. He's got muscles on muscles. So
I mean,
if they
both sides at corner are both big dudes, and one's a true freshman. So, I mean, those, we won't be lacking size by any means out wide.
Who we got on the other side?
JQ Hardaway. He's the true.
I think they is
gotcha.
JQ Hardaway the back. I think they've bumped out Arquan Bush to be the field corner.
Yeah, no, he's the field corner, and then the nickel is Taj Ward right now, or Sammy Anderson. But they have for the two main corners, they have Jaquan and JQ is what it looks like on the depth chart. But I might be wrong on that. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think you're good. And then you got Hicks returning. He's played a lot of football, free safety, and then Byron Threats, the sophomore.
Is he good?
He's gonna
tell us about him.
Yeah, he's a little bit on the smaller side, but he's physical. He likes coming downhill hard and getting his face mask in there, which is kind of a lot like Cook was. So I think that's exciting. I think that's that's going to be the biggest question mark in my opinion, is that group, and it's hard because the guys that they're replacing were so damn good. And so I'm curious, based on you don't have as much experience, you don't have those guys that are high draft picks, if that's going to change the way the defense is called. Are they going to line up? We run a lot of just straight up man coverage, because you got the guys that can lock everybody down, and I'm curious to see Coach Tressel if he feels confident enough to really do that, or that we're going to see more zone coverage, just to kind of use that, because if you don't trust the guys who don't have as much experience, I think that'll be interesting to see.
I mean, you gotta be excited about Coach Combs. Just kind of seeing, what he's done for this group. Like you said, just at least on the outside, little just not a lot of game time, not a lot of playing time. So, I was excited when we got him. I think it's going to be, that's another position that has a new coach. We forgot to even hit on it. We got a new D-line coach as well. So excited to kind of see the culture of the new position groups and, see how they perform.
We're going to jump into year predictions. Let's jump into year predictions.
Yeah, let's do that. Just quickly, so we hit on the special teams. You got Case and Pfeiffer coming back as a long snapper. Bryce Burton, the best holder in the country, is back. Ryan Coe, who is a transfer kicker. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then punter Fletcher's coming back. So, the kicker is the one we don't know much about. But other than that, everybody's returning and had solid seasons last year. So
they did say with the kicker, they said that Coach Carey has been right in his face as he's kicking field goals, and he's trying to make it as difficult as possible. So hopefully that kind of translates into a kind of a big time atmosphere at Arkansas, because I know last year was struggling to make field goals. That can hurt you against really good teams. We were obviously lucky enough to not have to worry about that for the most part all year, but I think on Saturday that might be a big difference maker is some of the kicks that from 30-40 yards.
Yeah, no, I agree. Excited to see how that plays out. But I don't know much about it. I don't want to talk too much on it, but hopefully he can put the ball through the uprights. That's all I got to say about that. Great. Yeah. So let's quickly just go through year predictions and let's go through the predictions of the game on Saturday, what we think is going to happen, what prediction of the score, and then, the year overall, since this is, before week 1. So Joe, I'll let you go first, man. What are we thinking about Saturday?
I don't, I'm probably gonna be Mr. Negative on this podcast. I know Statty's Mr. Positive, but I don't see us winning Saturday, and I think it mostly just has to do with the fact that it's the first game of the year. I think it's gonna end up being, I think 7 to 10 points. I'd say they're going to win about 31-20. 31-20, 31-24. I think it's going to be right around there. I think it's just going to be they'll probably win up front, potentially with their offensive line, defensive line. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm really wrong. No one will be happier to be wrong than me, but that would just be my prediction for Saturday. I think it's going to come down to a few key plays. And I think just being at home and us being on the road and us being so new with so many guys that we lost to the draft, I think if we got him maybe game 3, game 4, it would be a different thing for me and a different prediction, but I'm going to just stick with my gut. I think it's going to be about 10, 7-point loss Saturday, unfortunately.
It's real, man. It's real. I like that. It is. It's I think this first year in a while, I don't really know. I mean, we know a little bit, but we just kind of knew what we were going to do last year, and I think the year prior. So definitely tough. I mean, shit, I think we're going to go in there and win, but
we have no idea what to expect. And if you were right.
So as far as the score, man, I couldn't even tell you. I feel like it's going to be an exciting game. I'm thinking the first team to get to about 28, 30 points is gonna take it home. So if I had to guess, I mean, why not Bearcats 31-10? What if we just 21 them real quick? I don't know.
Whoa.
I know. I don't know. I really don't.
Whoa.
But I guess that's what I'm going with.
There you go. I like it.
We have no idea what to expect. I mean, you could totally be right. I could totally be right, and I wouldn't be shocked either way.
Yeah. I like Joe. I like your analysis a lot. I think it's very accurate. I really think it's gonna be a toss-up. I'm super, jacked up to watch as a fan. I really do think it's gonna be a really close game. I think that the inexperience of our team, losing so many guys and going on such a hostile environment, a team that's kind of starting to hit their stride, that had one of their better seasons in a long time, worries me. But I do think the Cats are going to be better than the national media is giving them to be. So I'll go 28-24 Bearcats.
Nice.
I really do think it's going to be a close game. It could go either way. I wouldn't be shocked at any of the scores that we gave, but we'll see. We'll see, man.
Hey, 31-10 is a little aggressive by me, but I love it.
Go big or go home.
Gosh, this is great. I think one last thing we want to add this year, just to add a little fun twist. This is a big soppy ad, and we love it. Just to hit kind of college football as a whole. Just going to give out a little lock of the week. Is that what you called it, Jake?
Yeah, I think we should give I don't know, Joe, Matt, do you do any betting? Little sports
you know what? I always, whenever I drive through Michigan or Indiana, I always place a couple bets for the next few weeks ahead. I don't win a lot. I'll be honest. I'm not, I don't bring home as much cash on the betting cycle as you two, but every once in a while I'll throw a bet in for fun.
I wish I was bringing some home.
I don't bring in a lot. I lose a lot. But if you had to give us a week 1 lock right now, does anybody have anything they want to offer up?
I think you start us off, dude.
Yeah, you probably are the guy to give us your expert analysis when it comes to this.
All right. I'll give you my not so expert analysis. I put in a couple today that are currently going on, looking good.
Okay.
But I am going to say that Ohio State minus 17.5. That's my lock. I think they're going to cover. I think, minus 17. I think they're going to give Notre Dame all that they can handle, and they'll win by 3 touchdowns.
My lock of the week is to absolutely hammer the NC State Wolfpack. 11.5 against the East Carolina Pirates. For as much as people are hyping up NC State, if they don't beat East Carolina by at least 12 points, then they're not a 13th ranked team in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in-state game gonna be a little rivalry, but I mean, NC State was strong last year, so I don't disagree. Like I said, you kind of took mine there, but hey, we come ready to go.
They brought everyone back.
I think mine is I'm gonna take it to Sunday, and I think Brian Kelly actually is gonna go out there and cover. I think they're a field goal favorite against Florida State.
They are,
I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Florida State's kind of just been a joke recent years. So I think Brian Kelly's a good enough coach to have good enough players as well to do that.
Quick question for the experts here. Houston 4-point favorites against University of Texas San Antonio. Do you hammer the Cougars?
Hammer the Cougars, dude. I think the Cougars are a good ball club.
That's almost a disrespectful spread, I feel like, for as good as they were last year.
Slap in the face of the conference there.
Yeah, I agree.
Man. All right, so there you go for our listeners. There's 4 bets right there if you want to lose money. Lay them down. But we're gonna wrap it up here real quick. Let's just go around hot take. Give me a record for the Bearcats. What's after the regular season, Joe? What's the record?
I would say we got 12 games.
Yeah, yep. I don't even need analysis.
Real
just
quick.
Give me a number.
Okay, I think we're gonna get 10 wins. I really do.
Yep.
Give me 12. 112 again.
Let's go, Statty.
12-0. There you go, Statty. I'm also going with 10-2.
Okay.
I'm going with 10-2. Hopefully Statty's right and we're wrong. But
maybe 14-0.
Maybe. But all right, boys. Well, I think that wraps up the first episode.
Awesome.
Poppy, welcome, dude. Thank you for coming on, man. We love this. Let's have a year, fellas.
Let's get a win on Saturday so we can have a celebratory pod next week.
Yeah, hey, maybe we'll share a virtual beer on the pod.
That'd be awesome.
Ooh, love that.
All right, fellas. Hey,
all right.
Go Bearcats, baby. Let's get the win.
Bearcats.
All right.
Let's go.
Yep.